Oh, good morning and welcome back to the One Celtic Fans View this Monday morning. Monday morning up the lark. Jesus, who's got a hangover today? Celtic won 6-2 yesterday. 6-2. Nobody's seen that coming. Nobody's seen that scoreline, and what a devastating 6 or 7 minute
Spell.
6-2 devastating spell for Celtic. Going into extra time, seriously. I know you're going to have to go and see it. I can't. Wait. Why is there somebody at the door? I'm not expecting any either. Jesus. Who's coming at the door at this time of the day? It's bloody morning time. Anyway, we move on. Celtic are obviously in the final with Neil Lennon.
Sorry. We are going to repair the stairs, you know.
Jenny, no.
Not there, yeah. So when they do it, it needs some time to stick, you know. So don't
The neighbour.
don't put your
Excuse me.
Don't if you do it, you will be
We're live on YouTube. He doesn't realise this. So yeah, with Celtic in the final with Neil Lennon as the manager, let's listen to a little bit
You will be quiet.
of
Sorry.
Neil Lennon talking to Martin O'Neill.
The state of the house. You had to wipe your feet on the way out.
Well, I'm glad you said that. Yeah.
What about this? Sorry, I'm Gaffer. I've been waiting on this team to explode, and then that 10-minute spell in the first half of extra time, they exploded.
Yeah.
They got power and pace and quality at the end of it.
Isn't it amazing that you got a surge of confidence, you know, from the first goal, and feeling that you thought you'd won the game. It didn't happen. And the game can go either way then after that. But we got the surge then with the confidence with James beating his player and in the actual heading into
He's
the
a big
net.
player for us, isn't he?
For us, whoa, Lenny, for us. That'll get picked up upon, won't it?
I'd rather have had him at 24 rather than 54.
I did have him at 24. He was pretty special.
He was a special player, special lad.
Yeah, well, listen, Martin.
It's nice to see you, Charlie. Really.
Anyway, nice to see you as well, Martin. Martin O'Neill and Neil Lennon having a bit of a laugh and a giggle after the game yesterday. On the 23rd of May, there will be no laughs when it comes to Celtic and Dunfermline. I got my prediction right. I did say way before these games even took place, I felt it in the water, as they say. Felt it in the air that it would be Neil Lennon versus Martin O'Neill in the final. How do you feel about that? Two Celtic icons. It's going to be an interesting game because, let's face it, even Martin O'Neill thought that we weren't comfortable at 2-0. Obviously, Dyson Maeda getting that fantastic goal. Is there any need for Tam the Czech? There's one thing for sure. Where has Dyson been all year? Why hasn't he played like that all season? It's okay turning up we appreciate him turning up at the business end of the season and playing out his skin, but we expected that all season from you, Dyson. You know, there was a lot of good come out of yesterday, but there was also some questionable things that went on. James Forrest still doing it for Celtic, as Martin O'Neill said. I think he's about 54. I think he'll still be 54 and still pulling on his boots for Celtic, unfortunately. When it goes to the player ratings from yesterday, how do you feel about the players? Celtic played in the 4-2-3-1 formation. Kieran Tierney ended up captain at one point before being taken off. Arnie Engels, Benji Arthur started, Austin Trusty, Tony Ralston. Tony Ralston, should he have done that? Nah, Tony would never do that, would he? He was just ecstatic that he scored the goal. Tony Ralston, completely ecstatic and loving life the fact that he did score the goal. Didn't see that extra time period coming. 4 goals in 6 minutes? Yep, it was a crazy. What exactly happened to the players? You know, they must have thought, oh fuck this, we're not going through penalties again. Let's just get this done and dusted. It's this is no fluke. Hibs, Kelty, Aberdeen, Falkirk, some run for Dunfermline. It's I mean, when Dunfermline played against Kelty Hearts, That was a bit of a local grudge match. Stadium's only around about, what, must be about 8 miles as the crow flies between both stadiums, and the two little, in the city of Dunfermline and the town of Kelty. Yeah, it's been some run for Dunfermline, but Celtic. Well, let's talk about the striker situation. Big Tam the Czech didn't play yesterday. Martin O'Neill said it was because of a rotation. Do you believe him, or do you still think that he's got an issue with Tam the Czech for the old night they were out on the wee swally? But anyway, he was dropped out of the team. Dies Maida started. I think that was the right choice. Tam the Czech's not been scoring goals, so you can understand why Martin O'Neill went, do you know what, mate? You've had chances, open goals. We need to make sure that the balls go in the back of the net on days like this. And Dies Maida gets the first one. It was a bit of luck, wasn't it? But you've got to make your own luck in football. And Dyson has done that over the years at Celtic. He's put in the graft. He's been in the positions at the right time. Tam the Czech's been in positions at the right time, but he's just not put the ball in the back of the net. So Dies Maida, he gets pass points, and it's a case of where have you been all season. Kelechi Iheanacho, he's a player that's over the course of the season has divided opinion when it comes to the Celtic team. Does he have the pace? Does he have the mentality? He definitely has the mentality. And then there will come the decision in the summer. I think he does have the option, the club option of another year's contract. Would you give Kelechi Iheanacho another year's contract? I would say yes, actually. You know, as long as the wage structure is in line with the current Celtic squad, and he's not paid an exuberant amount of wages, you know, 50 grand plus. But he's definitely a player that I would say yes. Let's see if we can get a full season out of him. He's still young enough, you know. He's still got a good few years ahead of him in football player wise. He's only 28, 29-year-old. And I think if we get him on the books, Oxlade-Chamberlain, he come on with 20 minutes to go. Did he have a great impact? I mean, if you're going to keep one or two of them, do you keep the two of them in the summer? Oxlade-Chamberlain, same age as Callum McGregor. We do need a bit of midfield oomph. The experience could do as well next season, because there's going to be a lot of new players that are coming in that have never won things before. I can't see us going out and bringing in Champions League winners, that's for sure. But anyway, that is the summer, and it'll all be taken care of then. Before then, we have a Scottish Cup to win. I told you. I'm going to start putting bets. I'm not. I wonder what the odds were before the games the weekend for that to be the final. It's like a wee cheeky bet on that, because I just felt it. And I still think that Celtic will win the final against Dunfermline. But can we win the league? Can we get that 10-minute spell from the second half, and can we transform that into football in a 90-minute game over the next 5 remaining games? The semi-final is done and dusted. It is in the past now. It is down to business. Will the Celtic players get any time off today? I think Martin O'Neill might give them a little bit. No time off for them. There's still too much work to be done. You know, maybe Martin O'Neill will rest the players. He did a bit of rotation yesterday. How do you feel that we played without Rio Hatate? For the first time at Hampden, Rio Hatate did not, since he came to Celtic, I'm sure, did not even get on the pitch. And I am going to be honest, I think that we had a better game without playing Rio Hatate. I think that his days are definitely numbered. He'll be gone this summer. Let's jump over to Instagram. I'm going to jump over to Instagram because Kelechi Iheanacho, he's a player that does get us. And Kelechi Iheanacho put up on Instagram, he said, "Thank you, Celtic fans. We will do our absolute best. There will be light at the end. Stay with us." I don't want light, mate. I want trophies. Let's jump on to the big sort of bit for me, and it's the stories from yesterday from the Instagram. Scott, what are you doing with that hairdo, man? I'm sorry, mate. I can't get used to you. And Junior Adamu, who was at the game yesterday, let's go back to Bruni. I cannot get used to Bruni. Fair play to Bruni, he's got his Celtic tie on. You know, fair play to him. He's still has his Celtic tie that he wore to the semi-final yesterday, but that hairdo, mate. It's like something about Mary stuff going on. It is, isn't it? It's sticking up stuff. Shave it off, mate. Looked way better. Junior Adamu, it was a strange decision taking him to the game, but he was loving the fact that he got there when you see the Celtic. The talking point of the day. Casper Schmeichel puts up this big day of football ahead. Come on, boys. But the reality is, he was nowhere near Celtic. He was nowhere near Glasgow. Yep, he was down south. Big game at the Etihad. And it's who gives a, do you know what I mean? Reunited with an old friend. That caused absolute mayhem in the comments section. And, do you know, I mean, we could jump over to that just to see what some of the comments were. Where are they? We just scroll up. This banger was an imposter. Couldn't save stamps. Came to Celtic thinking he could do a Joe Hart. Thought it would be easy. Thought he would be a hero. He disrespected the club, fans, teammates. Eventually found out good riddance. Maybe he opted out of the ticket cup scheme. Anyway, he's full of sums up you. Tell me where your loyalty lie. And as you can see, it's said from the season that he should have been dropped. Yeah, I kind of think that it's the way that he should have went, isn't it? But let's get back to the stories. I'm sat one out. And this is an interesting one because it's a goalkeeper that Celtic had on their books. And I think that this is a goalkeeper that Celtic will regret letting go in a few years' time. Young Toby. It was a weird one, letting him go. Celtic started the day with their Instagram and Kelechi Iheanacho goal. Luke McCowan. Let's talk about Luke for a second, because Luke could have won the game in extra time. He could have saved us the heartache. Look, you've got an open gap right through the box. All you had to do was put it right through and hit the back of the net. But nope, you leaned back too far and made the ball rise above the... I could have cried at that point. I thought, look, you could have become the hero. He ultimately did score a goal for Celtic, but he could have been a hero within the 90 minutes and extra time, without going to the extra time period. But we did go to the extra time period, and we completely destroyed, devastated them with a goal spree that just seemed to come from nowhere. Did it end up 6-2? Dies Maeda. Where is Dies Maeda? He got player of the match yesterday. John Hartson at the game. You could tell the true Celtic legends that were at the game yesterday. Joe Hart. He also put up, this will speed up. Come on, Joe Hart with his golf stuff. Big Lustig has got a golf YouTube channel as well, hasn't he? I'm not watching all that, Joe. Come on. There we go. Thanks, guys. Great win for his birthday. Anyway, that is enough of the players on their social media from yesterday. What a day it was, wasn't it? What a day. Tony Ralston getting a cracking goal. He will be off to Scotland, off to the World Cup. Should we be laying off Tony Ralston? Should he stop getting the stick? And will Tony Ralston sign an extension at Celtic in the summer? He goes into the last year of his contract this summer. And be honest, come on. He's Celtic through and through. Let's jump into some of the comments this morning and see what you're saying to it. Someone held up Save Mickey because he's banned from Handown. About time he got banned. Next Chris Point. Emotional roller coaster of a season. It has been. It is. Do you know how bad we've been? And people do say, "Come on, it's Celtic. This it is a bad season." Do you know, we've went through 3 different managers now, and from the outside it looks as if Celtic have been in complete turmoil. But we're at the Scottish Cup final. It's the biggest game in Scottish football calendar. The final game of the season. Yes! We're at it. We've made it. We made it. Something to be happy about this morning. Something to be completely happy about this morning. And I'll tell you one thing, if that's what happens when my old man comes there, I'll need to get him there quite a few more times before the end of the season. It's like, Dad, book a return flight in 2 weeks' time. It has been a roller coaster of a season. I've not enjoyed the abuse Casper has been getting, but not being at these important games for us shows us all he didn't give a shit about Celtic. Exactly. I mean, that's. I think he definitely fell. I don't think he was ever in love with Celtic. Let's be perfectly honest. He didn't grasp the protests at Celtic. He didn't grasp. He just didn't get Celtic. Let's be honest. He was there. He was there to get to the World Cup. He was using Celtic to get to the World Cup. Him and his mate Brendan Rodgers. I mean, he would never have been at Celtic if Brendan Rodgers wasn't there. There's nobody in their right mind would have signed Casper. But anyway, Brendan Rodgers did and think. And there's one thing for the whole Casper Schmeichel scenario is he's got a contract at Celtic. He's getting paid by Celtic until the end of this season. I take it that contract's being ripped up and Celtic have went, right, let's come to a financial agreement. You're not going to play at the end. You're not going to be here. Or are they still paying him? And if they are still paying him, it's a big slap in the face to Celtic. It's a slap in the face to Celtic anyway, because we all know that he went on American TV to tell Martin O'Neill, and that's the most disrespectful thing about it at all. He disrespected Martin O'Neill, he disrespected the Celtic fans, he disrespected Celtic as a club by going on American television, sports channel, to tell the world that his football career was finished at Celtic. Oh, never told anyone at Celtic. And for me, that's disappointing. It is disappointing, but he will never be remembered the way that Joe Hart is remembered. And the fact that Joe Hart kind of likes coming up to Celtic games and does. Joe Hart went to America recently with the Celtic Foundation for a charity event in America with Celtic. That's the type of people that you want at Celtic. You don't want people like Joe Hart, like Casper Schmeichel, all badge slapping bullshit. Anyway, Ralston is a great sub. Ralston still isn't good enough. He enjoyed it yesterday, but he needs moved on. Ooh. That second half was a joke, has to be said. Yes, it was weird. Martin O'Neill even said that he wasn't comfortable at 2-0. Felt that the confidence, it's a weird, this Celtic team are Jekyll and Hyde, aren't they? They're a team of, we know they can do it. We know that they have this in them. We know that this team has that devastating 10-minute spell. We know that these players have. You don't lose that. So it has to be a mindset thing. Don't know. And what has caused that? Does it go back to the beginning of the season when Brendan Rodgers called them Honda Civics? Do you know, when you've basically got a manager saying, "You are shite." Is that what started the downward spiral of the confidence? John Kennedy sitting on the touchline, looking about as interested. I mean, Kennedy was sitting at games towards the end of his time at Celtic, and it was hard for him to get off the seat. He looked unimpressed with everything. He didn't look interested. And it was maybe to the time that John Kennedy was the true light of John Kennedy was. Anyway, he's not here. Tony's done a job and contributed well. Done the bricky. 10 minutes of magic. 5 games remaining. Can we get 10 minutes of magic in every game? Let's hope so. Because what it's done in that 10-minute spell, if Celtic had got beaten yesterday, the other two teams that are sitting currently above Celtic in the SPFL table would have thought, Celtic are out the running completely. But that was a wake-up call to the other two. It was a wake-up call to the other teams in the top 6, is that Celtic aren't finished yet. You know, we're in the last game of the season. We are there. When it comes to the summer, Celtic will have the last laugh. because Celtic are involved in the last game of the year. And going into the summer, everyone talks about the Scottish Cup. You know, once the league's won, done, dusted, you kind of forget about it. Pitters out after a week or two. The Scottish Cup is the one that matters because, you know, the league gets us into the Champions League, but you go into the summer with a smile on your face after winning the Scottish Cup. When you lose it, it's fucking shite, isn't it? Let's face facts. Tony Ralston deserves credit, however, it's still only backup at best. Everyone knows, shocking Europe. Look, I think that we need, I've said it before, you need diehards at the club. We need diehards that will do anything for Celtic. If you don't, this is where, think about it this way. If you get rid of the likes of Tony Ralston's, Colby Donovan's, Dane Murray's, Callum McGregor's, James Forrest, Kieran Tierney's, you then end up with a team of Kasper Schmeichels. And is that what Celtic isn't about that? You know, and it's like, I know that we give these players stick, and I've said it before, you know, the Mikey Johnsons of the world, they want to come in and do their best for us. And they would fight for the jumper all day long. And it's be careful what you wish for, because the way that the team and the club is at a minute, you're not going to have your Tony Ralstons, you're not going to have your Colby Donovans in a couple of years' time, you're not going to have your Callum McGregors, your James Forrest, you know, and then where do you go from there? There isn't the conveyor belt coming off the academy line that is going to fill the team full of replacements. Something you need to watch out for. Kasper is a multi-millionaire. He's basically retired. Ralston was man of the match for me. It's weird. It'd been a nightmare season, but almost got a treble. Exactly. Could you imagine if Wilfred Nancy, Jesus, the craziness, absolute craziness. The week before, Martin O'Neill had the team playing fine. Could you imagine the meltdown if we go on to win the SPFL title? It's going to be absolute. It's going to be absolute brilliant. Honestly, this will be the best. If we win the title, coming from third position on the 20th of May, you've got a month left. If we go, see if we win the title, this will be better than 2012. It'll be way funnier. Honestly, it'll be way funnier. Bitter taste of the big Danes, sadly. Yes, it's true. Do you know what I mean? It was his addition to be a pundit. Let's move on from big Kasper. Kasper Schmeichel doesn't score enough goals to be fair. It's worse not getting to the final, watching others enjoy their day. Not that I'd watch. It's true. You don't watch the Scottish Cup final if you're not in it. You know, you don't care about it. You're not interested. The best one. Best one. Don't mention his name. No, we'll keep him out. Just win this cup. Not got enough to win the title. Not got enough to win the title, but if we can replicate, I would say that we do. That 10-minute spell, the devastating, fast attacking, one-touch football, getting the ball forward quick. Martin O'Neill says that we need to get the ball quicker, faster forward. For me, it shows that, does Rio Hatate get any game time between now and the end of the season? Maybe, but I don't think he's good enough in the midfield. Don't think he gives us enough fight. Managing the game time of Callum McGregor. I think that the game changed in the second half when Callum McGregor came off. As bad as Callum McGregor is, he's still good at helping the team and started getting us organised. We kind of lost our way, and there's no one in the team that can replace him at the current moment. You know, Kieran Tierney might be captain material, but he's not an organiser. He's not great player management stuff. Not that he's shown. It's going to be an interesting one. Stevie Clark took Forrest to the Euros and only gave him a few minutes on the pitch. In the last game, Clark will not. Let's forget about Celtic, Scotland. Has Big Tam, the bib, been sacked? What about the bus stop I heard about? No, he's not been sacked. Martin O'Neill says it is all about rotation. Rotation. And I don't think Tam the Check's done enough. I mean, would you spend the money that they're talking about with Tam the Check? I don't think so. Martin O'Neill said it was a slight rotation. Talking about the game yesterday, Martin O'Neill says, we got off to a great start. Dyson Maeda closing down and scoring a goal. I was hoping that he would take the initiative. I thought we had a lot of possession. I mentioned to you the other day that sometimes maybe we need to try and get forward a little bit more quickly. And then there's the bit that he was talking about. Yeah, there it's there. Talking about Tam the checked out. He's not injured. We have a couple of players, Scales suspended for a start. So big Benji Arthur comes in there. Arne Engels starts the game. It's just a manner that I can call of a slight rotation. When you bring Arne Engels into the game and Luke McCown on the bench, Paolo Bernardo's not going to get in before Oxlade Chamberlain. The only thing that Bernardo can hope for is that when the summer comes and the likes of Rio Hatate is sold, Arne Engels is sold, maybe opens up a gap for us to see the real Paulo Bernardo, because we know Paulo Bernardo's got it in him, but he needs a consistent run of games. Because if we don't, it could be the fact that we'll end up losing Paulo Bernardo. And if we do, I hope we get the right price for him, because said they've got a habit of selling players far too cheaply, especially when they're not in the team. Don't think Big Tam is worth a punt. He's not even worth a punt of strawberries. Is that a punnet? A punnet of strawberries. That 10 minutes showed me the raw core is there. The players need to take confidence from that. Definitely. Definitely. That's it. Anyway, that is me done with the name. Did Adamu, the rotation man, ever get on? Nope, Junior Adamu did not get on the pitch, which at least he got there. Makes you wonder why Adamu was on the bench, though. Martin O'Neill never tells us everything, does he? He's a sly old fox, is Martin. Anyway, that is me done and dusted this morning. Have an absolutely fantastic Monday wherever you are. It's and we've done it. That's it. At the end of the day, we did do it. It's fantastic. I was buzzing yesterday. I was absolutely gutted when Luke McCown missed that open goal, because it was an open goal, right through. Kelechi has to start from now to the end of the season. Does he have a full 90 minutes in him, Kelechi Iheanacho, or would you start Dyson Maeda through the middle? Would you keep Dyson out in the wing? It's an interesting one. That is an interesting one. Anyway, well, let's speak about that this evening. I shall see you at 8 p.m. Celtic part-time tonight. On that note, have an absolutely fantastic day, Celtic fans, wherever you are. And yeah, be no Huns in Hampden. The battle of the icons. Let it commence.